Ask for a DLC video. Do it. Do it. See what happens. I'll blog you on Discord or something. I might do it if you ask nicely.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before, but that you're gonna love hearing. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing.
We'll be right back after this.
Systematic world killing me. Getting numb really fulfills me. Take me higher, someplace I've never been. I'm about to wake up, let it begin. Watch it burn like a firebird. I'm coming back until the world is yours. The world will be mine. One step closer to the edge. I'm about to wreck, so I'm ready. If fearless play, the game is on, so bring it on. You don't know me, so I'll show you. Now you know me, I'll go through. I'm ready to take you. I'm right in front of you, right in front of you.
Then select the show, you got the message. Crystal, ballista, over now. Psycho King, use a king, who's a more candy king.
Oh, I'm about to lose it. I'm telling you that I won't back down. I'll prove it. No other place to now, so I'm ready and moving. So let me show you my strength. I'm improving.
The rhythm's gonna set me free. Hey, baby, move your body, shake it on this battleground.
10 seconds to impact.
Break the silence, we kill yourself. We're losing you, we're losing you. Break the silence, we kill yourself. We're losing you, we're losing you. Gates are closing, we sing yourself. We're losing you, you've gotta regain yourself.
Hi there. A year ago, I made this.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
But as you can very easily guess, I wasn't fully satisfied. So, welcome back to the needlessly masochistic and limiting Reforged mod Shadow of the Earth Tree Level 1 challenge. And do not worry, do not fret, I'll explain, or at least try to explain, the various hows and the diverse whys of this whole rule set during this long journey. But first, I need to fully drive home how tough this shit is gonna be. By doing one of the highlights of the last video, again, as a warm-up.
One eternity. I can see it. As clear as day.
I guess we're back. Holy fuck.
I do truly hope that I have your attention now, which I should, because Moog Level 1 is child's play. At least, compared to what Shadow of the Earth Tree turns into when you're playing with this absurd rule set in this mod. Which, hey, last time, didn't fully get into the details of. Details like Ashes of War consuming way more mana and being less spammable and overpowered. Broken status effects doing way less damage. World progression being reworked, which not only forces you to complete places like Redmane, but turns places like Redmane into actual dungeons, which also applies to Leyndell. Also, set progression forbids you from sequence breaking and having a +9 somber or +20 something regular weapon from the get-go, which I wouldn't even allow myself to get even if Reforged didn't crack down on it. Oh, so is it Reforged one of those masochistic mods that no, it is not. If you're used to actually engage with the game and not just cheese the fuck out of everything, Reforged is not that hard to get used to at all. I mean, it's a decent challenge, but in return, it offers you limitless freedom in combat. It adds new attack and movement options, it adds a million weapon affinities so you can specialize, and another 1,000 character classes that you can mix and match together so you can specialize even more. It leaves restrictions like using greases or blade magic on weapons with elemental infusions. But I am level 1 though. And when anything and everything kills you in 1 or 2 hits, and you lack the means to use most gear in the game due to the level limit or some arbitrary bullshit that I impose upon myself, the best I can hope for is consistency and predictability. No fancy fortunes with game-changing effects, no complicated setup to overcome the limits of being level 1, just simple stuff. For this run, I'll focus on proven staples of my last challenge. Also, this time around, the rule set is gonna be a little less strict. I will allow myself to fully upgrade any base game weapon to plus 25 with cheats, because that jump from plus 24 to plus 25 is gonna make the biggest difference when boss fights start taking 8-minute attempts each. Am I right? And now for something that actually does help me a little bit. Yeah, I can just bleed. And cold. And whatever. And I can use a couple more things that you'll get to see on due time. But it doesn't matter anyways, because did you know that all the Shadow Tree fragments that you've been seeing me collect are nerfed in this mod?
You what?
So the small number that we had as a baseline is getting multiplied by even less. And which, by the way, I'm very curious now. Will they have closed the way to Shadow Altus? Because you can get to Shadow Altus here. Oh, there we go. And yes, there's no way. Yes, rotated by Mesmer, varying passage to the Gilded Plains. All paths lead to the Twin Moon Night. Motherfuckers. These people have added so much content. It's so well implemented. Oh no! Are you for real? Oh my god, you motherfuckers! Are you kidding me? You need to get to the main dungeon for this to open, right? Oh, these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers. In true Reforged fashion, the options are you either craft a very solidly thought out build or you get good. And the former is not an option for me. Let's just get going. Ja, sonst... We deal with the enemies the best we can, which, to be honest, at this point in the DLC, they are no issue. In fact, I quickly realized that the bigger guys are easily stun-locked by chaining heavy rapier attacks. Oh look, more warm-up! Let's give it a try. Or maybe not. Let's just ignore it. It's not like this is a mandatory enemy or anything.
No, 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 no. Estoy vivo. Pensaba que me iba a matar con la caída. Here comes the money. Nice. Es una guarrería, tío. A la hija de puta.
Okay, I get it. Let's go back to Belrat real quick.
Va a empezar a dar vueltas.
If I told you it surprised me things were gonna be this dire, I would be lying. Because this isn't my first time on this rodeo. These attempts are from last November, but I had another level 1 DLC saved it, a whole year ago in fact, after posting my initial video. When I said I would do the DLC, I was joking. Mostly. I mean, I didn't believe I would actually be able to do it. I thought it was technically doable, but so difficult that it would be near impossible. But trying was still fun. So I did some Divine Beast and Rolana attempts. And I died. And died. And died some more. And died and died and died and died and died and died. And then I almost died for real.
I'm sure you rummage around downstairs more than Mommy would like, but it's time you started paying attention to your favorite pastime, because that bag of beans bouncing around in your hand could be trying to kill you. What? Yeah, because testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer in men aged between 15 and 35.
Okay, so before we go on, I'm gonna make a little TLDR for my internet friends and for my subscribers, because I wanna calm you down. Yes, this is not a joke. Yes, I have cancer. But I'm winning. I am winning the battle. I am gonna win. I'm gonna get back to my normal life. Channel, we will have fun here again, and everything will be alright. I believe surviving this experience broke something in me, besides my left nut. Not gonna lie to you, I was very, very close to kicking it. Spending months in a hospital bed makes the smallest thing seem important. And one of the real thoughts that kept popping up was, man, I wish I could have done that challenge just in case this is the end. It would probably be easier than this shit. Some long battles and what felt like an endless nightmare later, I find myself at home, likely cured, with 2 expected months of paid vacation so I can fully recover, and a very clear stay-at-home prescription from my doctor, because at this point even the mildest flu could kill me. Yeah, not even the chemo-induced nerve damage was gonna stop me.
Oh my fucking god, we got him! Holy shit! Oh yes, sir! Oh my god!
I'm not brave, but I kept trying. Not strong enough, but I kept going. Through the hardship away, knowing that if I don't fight, I'll forever be more with pain. If I give up, that's an automatic loss for me in a ring from my enemies. Can't let it be. Took a few knockouts to understand the game. Now I'm ready for the ring. Yo, time for the king. Wearing all bands and seas. Be in a state of no fear, fixed like a screen team. As we proceed, no guarantees. As we take these steps to our destiny. Who knows what happens? So we believe in a no space. Doubts, we believe in a team. Unwelcome guest, disregarding the question. Putting these in a music forever pressed. I'm not brave, but I kept trying. Not strong enough, but I kept going. Through the hardship away, knowing that if I don't fight, I'll forever be more with pain. If I give up, that's an automatic loss for me in a ring from my enemies. Can't let it be. Took a few knockouts to understand the game. Now I'm ready for the ring. Yo, time for the king. Wearing all bands and seas. Be in a state of no fear, fixed like a screen team. As we proceed, no guarantees. As we take these steps to our destiny. Who knows what happens? So we believe in no space. Doubts, we believe in a team. Unwelcome guest, disregarding the question. Putting these in a music forever pressed.
Before we move on to chapter 2, there's a couple of tips that I would like to give. These are some of the most difficult attacks that you definitely need to know how to dodge. But besides these, man, I don't know what to tell you, I spent 20 hours fighting these 2 bosses. For the Divine Beast, I dropped my usual rapier, because I definitely needed some of those bleed procs so I wouldn't go crazy over the duration of the fight. Also because the windows of opportunity are way smaller in this boss than they are on Relana, or at the very least, way less frequent. Most of this fight is during very small trades during big attack delays, dodging, and going for the big punish afterwards. Keep this in mind during your attempts, because this will become a theme for most of its attacks. Every time it goes for the spinning move, you need to start running in a direction that will not get you trapped between it and a wall. Camera sucks in this boss, and even though you sometimes can squeeze the last jump by timing alone, if you're trapped enough, you'll get hit. You also need to assume that it will always do the spinning move after this combo. because it always does it. It is not a combo extension, it is a combo. Which becomes extremely dangerous during the electric phases. Be ready to jump away several times while positioning yourself between the lightning rays. Now, this is vital information. Out of farm during phase transitions. The breath attack is so simple, just run sideways. What isn't simple though is the tornado move it can do during the wind phase. Run sideways and jump. Ice phase is simpler than it looks, just dodge every move away from the boss to not get trapped in the ice storm, which you should be doing in the first place because wind phases also have lingering AoEs after most attacks. But be ready to delay jump on the stomps. Rilana on the other side is way more complex, but most of her combos can be just dodge on reaction. Try to delay dodging when she throws magic because the projectiles will likely overlap with her melee when dodging up close, but if you're away from her, she usually lacks melee range to keep up with you, so it just might be a better idea to strafe said magic. You can be extremely aggressive during her Carrion Sword cast if you have a fast weapon like me. Her fire transition is very simple, just run away. But the projectile one, oh, the only dodge I figured out is doing these little jumps. Jump up the moons from up close and then you can punish on the third one if you feel like it. Also, this combo? Yeah, no idea. I am just trained to recognize it and run away from it, which is actually very difficult to do because this combo is a combo extension that not always happens. Also, I use Persona soundtracks in my videos, which is something that I am legally allowed to do, because unlike most fans, I actually play the fucking games. And now...
Tell me who you are, who you were, how much have you been paid? Take it easy, RELAX. Would you like to have something to drink?
If you thought that was an Odyssey, sit tight, people. But before jumping into the fray again, the rule set must be explained. Back in the video intro, I let this image slide. Those of you who play Reforged already know what this is. But for those of you who don't, you know how in Breath of the Wild you can find these little room pieces? Say hi!
Konnichiwa, you magnificent bastards!
There are room pieces everywhere. Some well hidden, others not that well hidden, or just given to you by killing bosses. And you can turn them into passive buffs, most of which I cannot use because, oh look, passive max HP, oh look, extra levels as a reward for exploring a lot in the game.
Wait, you're telling me that all this time you were ignoring not just one but two progression systems?
Yes. Yes, I was. Last time, this was flat out forbidden, but the odds are so against us now that, yeah, this is what I ended up with. Let's be real, the only thing that I've actually noticed from all these buffs is the mana regen one, which in all honesty will equate at most to like one more cast of my Ash of War during a boss fight, but still, it wouldn't feel right to hide all of this from you, so yeah, there you go, I used this. Speaking about infinitesimally small percentages, more Scaru tree fragments! They are still almost useless, they are still multiplying level 1 stats, and I still need them anyways, because they are the only way I'm doing any semblance of damage. Also, if you're curious about the fortunes that I'm using,
I'm him. I've been him. I will continue to be him.
I know what you're thinking.
Boring!
You're right! But you aren't fighting these bosses at level 1, so shut the fuck. Most fortunes give you stat buffs and debuffs, but I am level 1. I cannot afford to lose max stamina or max HP or anything because, again... yeah, Ball Fortune might have saved my life there, and it's only gonna get worse. Ball will stay for the rest of the run with some variety in the minor fortune slot. But now, let's go get some real good gear.
¿Cómo no sé? Es que son unos cabrones. Es que son unos cabrones. Tengo que abrir la puerta. ¡Oh!
¿Cuántos perros hay? No, esto es una guarrería.
Okay, if you're confused, welcome to Reforged, the mod that insists on you experiencing the game instead of skipping over everything. I want that talisman, so I gotta slowly drain my mana over these spots in the floor to open the door at the top.
Es que me van a spawnar un miniboss. Es que... A ver.
Yeah, fuck you, I'll see you at work. I'll just pretend nothing happened and come back at some non-specific time when I'm done with the big hypo.
Vale, hemos llegado, coño. A ver. No. Creo que sé lo que pasa. Normalmente, esta es la entrada principal normalmente. Creo que el camino alternativo, que normalmente sería la guarrería, que sería porque te querrías saltar, por si te quieres saltar a la criatura esta, ahora es el camino obligatorio. Tengo que venir al pueblo este, dejarme caer aquí, por un sitio súper específico, caigo a este pueblo, exploro este pueblo, paso por aquí, hoguera aquí, y aquí hay un nivel entero opcional, un puto nivel entero que conecta con un ascensor con la mazmorra. Creo que eso es lo que quieren que haga. No. ¿Y qué tengo que hacer? ¿Qué tengo que hacer?
I'm not gonna lose any more of your time, my dear viewer. The reason why it's blocked is... it's because I've been kinda lying to you. Kinda. This save game is not from last year's level 1 challenge run. Shortly after uploading the video to my YouTube channel, my credit card was hacked, so I formatted my PC just in case I had a virus, and lost my save game with it. Because I didn't already have enough shit to deal with the past year, right? So I created a whole new save game and got it to the point where I was previously with CytEngine. But somehow, during the process, I fucked up one of my progress flags, and Reforged believes that Radahn is not dead, because there's a hidden way to get to the DLC before mugging Reforged. But there's still a check for both bosses to get into the Black Keep, so you cannot just waltz into the endgame. Wait, but it allowed me to get into the DLC somehow anyways. So, is Radahn Schrodinger's demigod? Is he both alive and dead at the same time? The issue was so persistent that I had to speak with one of the Reforged devs to hopefully get some help. And I am very grateful to them, but shit was so fucked up that not even that was enough. I was real close to just calling it and restart it again, replaying the past 24 hours again. But then... yeah, this fixed it. For some reason.
Why though?
No. Se puede ir así, giro. Oh, no puede ser. There we go, vámonos.
There's not even anything to explain here. It is a very simple boss. I just fucking hate dealing with him. I hate when he takes the whole fucking screen. I can't see shit. I can't time shit. And how I'm supposed to dodge this? Whatever, let's learn that later. Let's do something else. Like actually getting into the dungeon from the side path. Let's unlock our way to several bosses. And let's get fucking smashed by Mesmer.
Yeah, this is a very difficult boss. As you can see, like, this is like
This boss is no joke at all. Why would you expect anything else? Is there anywhere else that I could go? Yes, I think that's... Yeah, it's open. It is open. Cool. Okay. Oh, that's disgusting. I'm gonna get jumped the moment I get that, right? Oh, yes, I'm gonna get jumped. Let me get that thing, please. No, 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 I'm so fucked. Ow! We'll be fine. Oh no! I will not be fine. I will, in fact, not be fine whatsoever. God damn it. Okay, slow down. I possibly have a plan. What the fuck, man? I would honestly love giving you another hype montage, but there was no hype. I just had to slow down and think. Oh, are you fucking kidding me, man? So that's a... Okay. Is that a grace? Is that a grace, man? I think that's a grace. No fucking way, man! That's bullshit! Oh man, oh man, oh man! It's a bullshit! Oh, that's so fucking cancer, dude. Oh, dear Lord, we got it! We fucking got it, holy shit!
Go unconscious.
¡Qué bien lo he hecho! ¡Qué bien lo he hecho! ¿Por qué estoy vivo? ¿Por qué estoy vivo? No me ha gustado. No me ha gustado el intento, no me ha gustado nada. Estaba siendo un no hit y cuando le quedaba el 20% de la vida... ¡Ah! ¡Qué poco me ha gustado! ¡Qué rabia! Chapter 2 is long enough as it is, so 3, 2, 1, let's go. Putrescent Knight is a very simple boss. But just as every single simple boss does, it punishes overconfident players. He has only one long combo, but whenever you finally learn that long combo, you won't get hit by it ever again. Unless you try to punish, because trust me, I've even tried with the rapier, but please, just don't do it, it's not worth it. You'll have your chance at the end, he takes a long ass time to get back into the horse. If your weapon is rapier kinda fast, you can fit a hit between these two hits. You can jump every single magic attack he does, including the one that comes from behind. Imagine you're at the other side of him and time the jump that way. Also, I swapped my rapier for the stock because these boss's hitboxes are a little bit wonky, so I prefer the longer range of the stock, even though it consumes way more stamina, but it doesn't matter because the punish windows are really small. The golden hypo is even simpler, so what you see is what you get. If he attacks, you dodge, that's about it. But there are 3 notorious moves that I would be very wary of. The first one is the grab, and everyone fucking hates this move. Most people try to dodge it diagonally or sideways. Just don't, just run sideways and jump. Run sideways and jump. You're gonna hear that a million times during this video. Just run sideways and jump. Then there's the one where it jumps and takes the whole fucking screen. Run away from him so you can better time your dodge. Running won't help you dodging the move, but it will help you seeing the boss better. Unless you get stuck in a wall, in which case, good luck, you better learn that timing. And then there's the spin, which... Okay, let me be real with you. The only reason I know how to dodge this move is because I spent like 2 hours looking for people doing no hits for this boss on YouTube. And the only consistent way that I found was dodge to the right twice. Yeah, that should work. No idea if it works on mid-roll though. Also, don't get it twisted. You might think that because the way I'm presenting these bosses, they were easy or something. They were not. They were not. I hate simple bosses. I hate simple bosses because I always try to bite more than I can chew. And yeah, this whole section was like another 15 hours or so, yeah. Wait, did you see that? It's a bird! It's a plane! No, it's TheOnlyOneDed committing suicide after 100 Mesmer attempts. This is the chapter where I fight Mesmer. Oh, and the sky isn't blue, but it looks like it. Okay, here's the deal. There's some stuff that kinda belonged in the last chapter, but it breaks my balls and the video pacing if I put it anywhere else but here, so let's show that first, and then I'll show you how I dealt with the best boss in the entire game. Sounds good? Sweet! I have to recruit some NPCs to my cause for certain future boss fight. Here is me telling a poor soul to remain sad forever, so I don't need to deal with his ass later.
You should love yourself.
Here is me making this loser mad because his flower waifu will actually answer my DMs.
You're a simp! You're a simp!
And here is me helping this old man fight this Kitsobari.
Wait, but didn't you say that no summons were allowed?
Well, yeah, but I also said this. I fully believe that the intended way to fight an NPC war boss is, well, using said NPCs. Also, do you really hate me that much? Do you really want me to run away from a gang squad of NPCs, kiting them around and softening them up with R1s for eternity, and then getting one-shot time and time again till I can observe the sky speaking in Latin? Don't you worry. And trust me, Leida and her friends will be difficult enough. And by the way, later I learned that doing all of this is completely useless because you get a surrogate old man anyways. Silly me. And now, as I promised, this this is the point in the video where I stop actually counting the attempts and I start estimating them. If you've been paying attention, I use a lot of weapon greases. I'll let how much of an effort it was to farm and craft them to your imagination. Well, I can average the amount of greases used per attempt and subtract what I ended up with from the total amount I had before starting the fight, and... Okay, from now on just assume that every boss took more than 100 attempts, because they did. I am not counting attempts during dozens of hours of gameplay, ain't anybody got time for that. This is the fight that finally forced me to consider switching up my build up more substantially. Mesmer is a very complex boss that punishes every mistake with extreme prejudice and does a lot of fucking damage. Enough damage to... Hey yo, have you thought about subscribing to my channel? This video took 6 months to do. Just click that button, just click it, just click it, I know you want it, click it. You might also realize that I am currently using a status effect in my rapier. It's not like I couldn't do it before, I am just extremely stubborn. But Mesmer is such a tanky motherfucker that I cannot ignore the elephant in the room any longer. This fight will be the catalyst to finally consider swapping my main weapon of choice. But for the time being, here's my trusty rapier. Oh, but here is an S-stock, so I can do slash damage with my heavy attacks, which are better in phase 2. And here is another extra rapier instead, so I can have a different infusion to do even more damage in phase 2. Wait, what are you doing with Aqua Kisashi again? This is something that I've observed during my hundreds of hours of Elden Ring challenges. TheOnlyOneDed syndrome. I always start a fight trying to optimize the fuck out of it, having different tools for different situations, but slowly and surely I remove each one of them till I'm back to basics. The reason is, when you're at the border of a literal panic attack because Mom, look, I got him to phase 2! Even the smallest extra input that I gotta do tends to get me killed. So I'll gladly lose a 10% damage increase to get 100% less mental tax. When you gotta do a boss hundreds of times, consistency is everything. Stop trying to make your character better. Try to make yourself better, by better studying a timing or trying a different direction for a dodge. And oh, believe me, I got better. Dare even say, I got good. Mesmer down. Mesmer down. Oh. Oh. Dios. This boss's moveset is truly mesmerizing. Ha ha. This shit is nothing to me, man. As always, there's no point to explaining every move, when a lot of them are self-explanatory, so let's focus on the tricky shit. Internalize the timing for the ball explosion move, because when he gets to phase 2 and does it in serpent mode, it is the same timing. Generally try to always dodge forwards, because if you don't, you will be quite literally playing with fire. These fire trails. Forwards dodging makes sure you are out of their hitboxes ASAP. If you have a fast weapon, in my experience Uchigatana or faster, you can dodge the land spin and then punish in the middle of it, then dodge again. Not only is this optimal damage-wise, it also negates the need to learn the delay because dodging out of your punish is faster and more natural. For his long-ass combo, I am not sure if dodging the first aerial spin is necessary, because here you can see me just look at it and nothing happens, but it doesn't hurt to do it on reaction because it also looks cool. Then dodge the first spin, and then dodge forwards twice for the spear aerial flurry, and finish with another 2 dodges for the slam and the AoE. Then my most hated move, by far. When he hits this pose, wait an instant and then dodge forwards twice. If you don't do the pose, you will always get hit by part of the aerial spin, but as long as you don't panic, you can save it later. On phase 2, he will always continue his bread and butter combo with this gap closer. You can dodge backwards to move together with him and have another punish opportunity, but it is risky as shit and I wouldn't recommend. If you see a scarlet mist in the air, it can only mean snake time. If you instantly react by walking backwards, it becomes very easy to dodge. Then the first 3 snakes share timing, but it gets way faster by the end, so be ready for it. I cannot be sure of this, but I swear that the best way to dodge the serpents is sideways. You do you, but that's what I've experienced. Sweet! Now you can level 1 Mesmer too! Knock yourselves out!
A lo mejor intento Romina ya, si llego hasta donde está. Porque no tengo ninguna práctica con ese jefe. ¿Qué? ¿Ah? ¿Espera, qué?
Okay, this is a Reforged moment award for sure. Just take it, take all of them. I won't keep the mystery this time.
Alright kids, this better be good.
Holy fucking shit, they made the Hog Rider mandatory. Later, the mid-game has more interesting bosses than this one, right?
¡Soplame la vela! I know how that ends. You start. Yes! Oh, come on. Yes!
Well, that was a waste of my goddamn time. Maybe it is the time for a change of scenery and a breather. In a hard as nails, demonically difficult challenge like this, what would be the use for me to come here? I mean, sure, you can get Marika's braid, which might or might not be useful later, but in my case I know for a fact that it won't make the difference. Well, sometimes you just gotta slow down and think about the journey, because this has been a journey. In the past 2 years of me doing Elden Ring challenges, I've been employed and unemployed. I've been with and I've been single. I've been alive and I've been dying. And I've been winning this challenge up until now. But what if I'm not good enough? Am I really ready for this? Or will I go mad? Go mad. Go mad.
Go crazy.
Go mad.
Go stupid.
Go mad. Go mad.
Go crazy.
Oh, right. on, no, 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 no. What am I doing? Why am I healing? What the fuck? I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing this shit again. I'm stopping. It's finally time. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Why this? That sounds weird, doesn't it? Last video I said that Moog and Malenia should die, and the reason was very obvious. They are the two most difficult base game bosses and they are out of the way, so it is impressive to get them at level 1. Not like getting Midriser impressed at level 1 or anything, don't get me wrong, but he was never infamous. He's just a very well liked boss. Well, the reason is, I always masked his ass and never got to actually get familiar with his patterns or anything, because he might be a little bit undertuned in vanilla. Yes, I just wanted an excuse to master this boss, because I like it a lot. And oh boy, am I about to master him, alright? Because he feels thick in Reforged.
This fucks up my plan. This is fucking bullshit.
We are officially not getting out of here unless severe changes are made. The rapier just doesn't carry anymore, even with how familiar it has become to me at this point. Midra needs Slash and Holy, so Slash and Holy it is. This is also fairly quick too, so this will do for now. I'm already noticing a difference. But I would like something better, not gonna lie. I am having a whole nother shit to deal with here. I am constantly running out of stamina. And I mean, I can always go with the double stamina flask, which, by the way, it's my favorite physic flask in the game, because it just allows me to be so aggressive, but that removes a lot of flexibility from my build, which I would end up regretting later. Those are two big problems to have, because the final boss is way more aggressive and tanky than this is, so I started looking for unknown options. Did you know that there is a third progression system in Reforged? Remember how I said that room pieces are hidden all around but also drop from bosses? Oh, I wonder what this is then? Shadow Curios are key items found all around the Land of Shadow. Each one of them offers you 3 different buffs that you activate upon triggering a different condition, like killing an enemy, like drinking a flask, like crouching. The twist here is, you can only have 1 buff per Shadow Curios. So think of this as a passive skill tree where you have to make decisions. Decisions that I've not made up until now because I have been completely ignoring this system for 70 hours of gameplay at this point. So I did a little expedition and I finally have enough fragments to turn one of these bad boys on. But first we need to check which ones I could even use after applying my usual rule set. So, Bruh. Oh, come on! Are you serious? Yeah, no way in hell I'm gonna fix my issue with one of them. Oh. Yeah, we're getting that. Found by the thing, a cementation. Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is. I've died to that shade a couple of times. I believe I remember what that with that cemetery shade is.
Are you sure about that?
Let's. It's just gonna one shot me, isn't it? Oh, that's absolute cancer, dude. That's cancer. Holy fuck. Dude! Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Oh my fucking god, die already!
Huh?
Wait, what? No. 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 Oh my dear lord! Now, what about the lack of damage? I tried a couple more weapons and no matter what I was using, the scimitar still did more damage, or the stock was still quicker and safer. Which means I slowly learned the fight while constantly changing my weapons and never being fully content with my choice. Until I suddenly realized that certain weapon has qualities. Qualities that not only match the things that I like about the stock, but surpass its limitations. They do multi-hits, which means stacking effects like the Millicent's prosthesis is way easier. Even when unstacked, they do way more damage, and even more fucking damage because they have innate bleed, so I can have multiple status effects on them. And the best part, they are just as fast as the stock.
Oh my god!
So all my muscle memory and all the punish windows that I've learned during years of gameplay, they all apply. They all still work. This was my third Midra attempt after trying the claws for the first time. Nunca gridear. Siempre pensar con la cabeza calmada. ¡Coño! Otro menos. Ahí está, joder. Let's go. Top Midra tips: do not lose your head and go mad. At the beginning of the fight, you can just rush his ass, get behind him, and spam R1 until he stops firing his lasers. In fact, you can do the exact same thing during phase 2 after dodging his phase transition. Which, by the way, the easiest way to do is just run away and jump at the moment he touches the ground. You can dodge his combos on reaction because they are so simple to read due to his animations. They are so uncanny but so well telegraphed, it just feels very natural to dodge. But if we are talking about directions, I always go diagonal right so I can make sure I'm out of the way of his fire AoEs whenever he does them. Yeah, even the fire dash. His grab is terrifying, but the trick is dodging backwards twice because the AoE is very inconsistent for some reason. His double spin, you just dodge in. And between spins, you could even punish if you wanted because he pauses for a while there. It's just a little risky to do. For the big ball move, try to trigger it by getting close to it. See the flash, wait a second, dodge backwards. Do this as soon as he casts this move, because if you don't, it's gonna harass you while he's also comboing you to death. Also beware his spike. He can just whip it out whenever, he can finish combos with it, and whenever he does it, he can always follow with a second one. In fact, in this clip, for the first time ever, he did it 3 times in a row. I have never seen it. But hey, I managed to react on time. Also, he's fairly low on posture, so don't get surprised if you're forced to break him, even with light weapons. And that's it, madness over. That means this detour is over too. So we can only go back to Chaos now, who... Okay, how do I break this news to you? Yeah, he wasn't that big of a deal. He still killed me like 60 times though.
Bueno, la llave que necesitábamos.
¡Ay, Dios! ¡No, por favor, baja ya, baja ya, baja! ¡Baja, no quiero que venga, no quiero que venga el first place, fuck off! It's Romina time! How refreshing to get a couple of easy bosses! Because, yeah, this whole thing has not been good for my mental health this far. Wait, hold up! What the fuck?! I gotta confess something, bros. Romina fucked me harder than the economy. Romina dropped on me from an egregious angle. Romina got me calling my ex. I got stuck here real fucking hard. And there is a big reason for it, which is gonna require another explanation. A while ago, I just stopped using all this stupid bullshit. This defense talisman, this opening heart here, I dropped it. It was finally time to let go, because even when I stack all of this defense, the reality of the situation is that bosses can almost one-shot me with everything they do, and the most I can do is survive a single hit from time to time. And what item does almost guarantee surviving a single hit? This right here, this is the GOAT. If there's a single thing that I can say helped me greatly managing this challenge, it was this absolute unit of a talisman. You would never even consider this during a normal playthrough, but turning a one-shot into a two-shot is going from a binary state to an actual chance of recovery. This thing has been my guardian angel, and if you're even thinking about doing a level 1 run, be it on vanilla, which is unreal, or Reforged, get well acquainted with it. But there's a dark side to this. Romina ended up having a lot of very fast and hard moves to dodge, that in a normal playthrough would be no issue, but here, quick and weak multi-hits pop the talisman and the second hit kills me. They pop the talisman and the second hit kills me. They pop the talisman and the second hit kills me. Oh my god! The irony of getting destroyed by the least threatening moves in the game is so fucking infuriating! I had to try hard this boss like she was the final step of the challenge. Also, she's super tanky by the way, because they probably rescaled her or something, and she moves around way too much, so the fucking claws under DPS did fucking nothing, which made me swap to the bolas. In this way I can keep the bleed damage, but at the very least I have some burst. I can do some damage before she moves again. And at some point, I won somehow.
Every path to go is a prototype, more room to grow. Got to see town, it's real life on the verge of deciding the color of the rest of the life. It's too easy to think like that, but don't.
This pink bitch just made chapter 4 the longest in the video thus far, so straight into it we go. Romina delays most of her attacks, which is a pain in the ass or a godsend depending on who you ask, because you don't have to guess now. She telegraphs everything though. Look at this grab, she points at you, bro. You can dodge then jump punish for her bread and butter combo, which looks sick. Her jump sting move, the timing is dodge just when the sound cue ends, or whenever you see her body start spinning. She really likes to roll to reposition, and the attack that comes after is undodgeable in my experience. Dodge once to get out of her way, then run away and jump timing with her attack. Even if she was closer, jumping makes those lasses go under you and it is safe to do. Sting Slam has an AoE, but I always use it as a punish window by dodging forward after the delay. Her phase transition and phase 2 in general is a nothing burger. Just get out of the way of the butterflies, Lemeo. She gets this new fancy combo, the 2 first hits share timing and the third is slower. She twirls twice before attacking on the third one, then just get out of the butterfly's way. Now, her actual 2 tricky as shit moves. The double aerial slash. Wait a good while, then dodge in twice, or you're fucking dead. I swear I am not capable of dodging this backwards. I am not. And then there's the 3-hit combo. It will just decimate you if you're not ready. The tail is her hugging herself with bug. When the centipede head starts moving left, dodge on her left side 3 times in a row, as fast as the game lets you. Buffer those 3 dodges, fucking smash that button, or you're dead. No idea how to deal with this in mid-roll, it might be the same, but I have no idea. It's over, guys. We made it. We made it into the endgame. Might Mother America guide my sword. How do I even begin the final chapter of this journey? Honestly, it doesn't really matter now, does it? Because you've been here with me for more than an hour at this point, which probably means you will stay till the end no matter what I do. Do I drop to my knees and give you an emotional thank you? Do I pretend this is just another day at the office and playfully keep doing the meme montages till I reach Radan? I might or might not do one or the other or both, but before then, we have to face the gang squad. And any realm, yeah, it's not the easiest level to navigate, quite the opposite in fact. This place is a gauntlet, and worthy of a final endgame level. The perfect environment for the level designers in the Reforged team to do a little trolling.
Fuck off.
This is so fucking funny, dude. Bravo, bravo. Such a great jump scare made me think on my feet, and when I opened my camera tool to record a take for this section, this guy got stuck. It is brilliant, man. I couldn't plan this shit. Look at him go. Look at him, bro. He's not getting in. He's trying though, real hard. Whoever thought of making this motherfucker mandatory and giving him all 3 faces? I don't know if I should hate you or love you. This is such a kick in my ball, but this is the reason why I love Reforged. It keeps putting me out of my comfort zone, but also gives me all the tools I could ask for and tells me, go crazy. And I've been scared of this guy long enough. Next time I see you in Night Rain, you are going down. Because I am gonna get good! You know, I absolutely fucking love this mod. And now for something completely different. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? No! That is bullshit, by the way. Really, dude? Ah, no! That's bullshit. Man, what the... TheOnlyOneDed, please, why no boss explanation? Because what am I even gonna explain, bro? Like, okay, I'll tell you what. Open your menu, try to create the most toxic PvP build you can think of, and kite the idiots around while playing super passive. Get close to your teammates, let them do most of the work, die anyways because this boss is bullshit, then keep trying.
Don't you dare approach Mikula the Kind.
Mikula the kind of twin to get fucked by this lady.
Let it go, let it out, let it go, let it out. Take a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. Lay low, lay high, lay low, lay high. If you feel my vibes, then part with me. Let it go, let it out, let it go, let it out. Take a deep breath, deep breath, deep breath.
There we go. Oh my god! Yeah, just rely on them. Just rely on your friends. Rely on them. There we fucking go, and they survive. Yes! Woo! Best bros forever. Oh my god. Oh, it's... Oh my... It's hitting me now. It's hitting me just now. We're here. I've almost died this past year. And one of the things that I legit was looking forward to if I survived was doing this. I have a million other fucking things that I should be thinking about. But still, something inside me wanted to come here and do this. I wanted to do this again. I am not the most articulate person when I'm emotional. But the only one dead who is writing the script definitely is. Everyone now. My family, my friends, my internet friends, my subscribers, my viewers, the Reforged team, and you. Thank you for your support, for your patience, your trust, and your time. I regret a lot of things, but the endless effort that this video, this achievement took, nah, it was worth it. Every second of it. Enter Promise Consort Redan, widely considered one of the most difficult bosses, if not the most difficult boss in the entire Soul series. He doesn't have any move that you gotta plan your entire approach around like Melania, but just like Melania, if you're willing to put the time in, you can actually dodge everything he does, every time. It's just so fucking hard and complex, but at the same time, the only approach with him is dodging. I know of no cool spacing tech, no cool jumping evasions, it's all dodge, man. I've no-hitted this boss in the past. I've no-hitted this boss in Reforged in the past. But I had an actual build, not this. So the fight was even then reasonable. But this is, if you punish at every opportunity with my build, at a minimum, a 6-minute fight. And very easily it can get into 8-minute territory. It is exhausting, and the millisecond I blink the wrong way, it's all over. This is the build that I was rocking. I kept the Rana Curio for low in stamina consumption, and the classes are Bold and Minor Heretic because my Cold Claws apply 2 status effects, which means I get all the stamina regen I did need from here, so the Flask is free to have a full damage setup, so the fight is slightly shorter. Also, I went to this dungeon and got this, so I can engage the boss forever without needing to back off. For the finishing touches, I upgraded to Royal Magic Grease for better DPS. Bullshit. One does not simply explain Promise Consort Radan. This guy has a million chains, he can use the end of a chain as a combo extension for another, he can disengage before throwing one of the longest combos in the game so you lose all your posture damage, while at the same time not allowing you to disengage because his second phase punishes backwards dodging like no one else in these games because every move has a backwards like magic extension. He does it all and then dares you to fucking try. Try to learn his million combos, because they are not that tricky to dodge, it's just the fact that there's so many of them. On phase 2, always dodge diagonal right towards him to be safe of the light magic, but the dodges are all the same. Speaking of phase 2 transition, just run and get away. When he does the disengage with a clone attack, delay and dodge forwards twice. When he does the pose, get close to his crotch and crouch. He'll just miss. For the long ass combo, just look at me here, just look at me here, and try to recreate it. Guys, just look at it, just look at it. When he does the instant air clone attack, run sideways to the right, count to 4, dodge into his right. For the disengage and meteorites, run away, then sideways, jump sideways, and if it's phase 2, keep running right, count to 5 and dodge away on the 5th, then delay a little bit and dodge in for the AoE. You can just dodge his gravity AoE grab, but if you're too close to him or he grabs you, then you have to jump and keep running. When he goes full shooting star mode, instantly turn around and run to the opposite side of the arena. Keep running, keep jumping, and you'll probably be okay.
I know all the theory. I could teach you a full course on dealing with this guy. But it is still absurd.
No, I knew it's going, no!
There's no need for concern, Tarnished. This isn't the Earth Trees and Trails. You are still very much alive. Do you remember the reason why you were even here? How the strength of your supporters would determine your potential? Can you hear their many voices? Each one's power is faint, yet they all reach out to you. Can you feel them? It is now the time to draw on the true strength thy bonds have provided you with. Do not be afraid, Tarnished.
Oh, but I am not afraid, because I've already faced death.
Fearless now. I'm pretending to be no pain to see. From the bottom of my heart, I'm ready to seize the day. Cause I know in your heart there's a spot for me. Believing in the gave me possibilities. It's more like a gift that I don't deserve. So I gotta give it back to you by all means. By all means necessary. Anybody else to y'all is secondary. Time's running out if you have any. Don't worry, I'm invincible, so legendary. If I fall down, I'm gonna get back up. Right back up, man, to where I left off. But I feel the battle because I got my crew on my back. You know I'm already. Tear up the fear, I got it locked down. The end is coming in, so burn your dread. Accept my fate, don't worry about a thing. It's in my bag, so burn your dread. Tear up the fear, I got it locked down. The end is coming in, so burn my dread. My fate, don't worry about a thing, it's in my bag, so burn my dread. Little about a situation, every second I was losing patience. Couldn't execute like daily operations. Who could, when we had such a deep relationship? But I chose the path, the right path for sure. Giving my all for cure, oh boy. Probably the toughest decision I made, and ready for whatever outcome which I'm gonna play. I shall touch the moon one day, and today's that day. I'll be in despair, however it's played out. Lose, ring, how it's laid out. Time run out, I made up my mind. Signed up reluctantly to this design. I got blood all over, ashes all over, but it's okay, kid, it's over.
Oh my god! I
it always feels so weird. You screaming joy and then acceptance. See, I really did this. I'm really him. Yeah. But now what? If you allow me to break character for a second here, I didn't fully appreciate what I had accomplished till now. Till now that I am writing the script for the final section of this gargantuan project. I remember in the last video when I have acidly explained the reason why I do these challenges, I said something to the effect of, I do it to fully appreciate the design of my favorite game or something like that, right? But now I'm not so sure. Maybe I do it because it's fun. I mean, even with how masochistic it sounds, it is fun. It is fun to push a boulder up a mountain. Sisyphus was up to something for sure. But after this journey of struggle and pain, of death and joy even, I finally have my answer, I think. It's because that mountain is there. And because it's there, I can. Speaking about mountains, what's that up there? Oh, for fuck's sake! Wait, the challenge is over already. Why would I suffer them? Or shall I say, why would I suffer them like this? I cross that, this. Okay, that's much better now.
Chalice in my left hand, dice in my right. Holy on the surface, heathen in the night. Yeah, silver on my circle, gold on my mind. Just to sing that sunrise round the priest blind. Dungeon full of secrets, brother by the gate. Blessed by the bitch, I'm still dancing with fate. Ivory tower, golden chain. I pray for love, then I pray for gain. Holy sword, but my heart insane. And kneel to lust, and I worship fame. Ivory tower, golden chain. I ride for gold, I ride for pain. Crown on my head, sin in my veins. I kiss the cross, then I toast to flames. Feast on the table, vice in the hall. Rage on my armor, in your silk shawl. Squire says, master, heaven's that way. I'm in the tavern, losing my pay. Ivory tower, golden chain. I pray for love, then I pray for gain. Holy sword, but my heart insane. And kneel to lust, and I worship fame. Ivory tower, golden chain. I ride for gold, I ride for pain. On my head, sin in my veins. I kiss the cross, then I toast to flames. Who will remember when banners all fall? The weight of my purse or the weight of my soul? Who will they worship when stories are told? The knight who saved or the knight who sold? Ivory tower, golden chain. Ivory tower, golden chain. I pray for love, then I pray for gain. Holy sword, but my heart
Fuck that, we are not doing bail. Also, you think this is still a funny, reliable night dunking on the last two bosses? Oh, you sweet, innocent harness! For the record, I knew I wanted to do Let Deep Fried Shitpost as an end gag, and I thought it would be easier with a fully kitted build with a shield. And I was probably right. It was easier than it would have been because I can just block the bullshit instead of dealing with the double slam hitboxes of this motherfucking piece of shit that took me, wait for it, another 9 goddamn motherfucking hours! So, for the most part, you can just perfect block most attacks pretty easily, but when she's slamming her head, the body hits the floor first. The body hits the floor first! So you better be walking backwards while you block or you're gonna regret it. You can do a counter guard if you wanna fuck her posture up even faster, but be very wary of her combo finishers. The slam combo can happen twice or thrice, for example, so if you wanna be safe, just use the counter when she does the longer version. Don't get greedy. If you break her posture, just keep hitting her. It is way more worth it than going for a crit, especially with how ridiculously small the crit window is for some reason. When she jumps away, she does this little squid thingy, and it's very easy to deal with it. Just keep that shield up and then dodge backwards. And then be ready to jump her stupid laser while you chase her down. Because guess what she can do? So when this bitch gives birth, and you're level 1, there is a single fucking way that I found of dealing with it. And it took me a long while of theory crafting with a friend. If you're close to her, insta-black flame tornado. If you aren't, you fucked up. Which becomes really funny during phase 2 because she can just decide to sound you away with the orb attack and then jump away, and then just do it. At that point, you either deal with them individually with fire pots from a safe distance or just reset the attempt, bro. You are done. Her triple laser is fucking stupid. You can strafe it if you're far away enough. And also you can get behind her so the tracking fails until it fucking doesn't. And then there's the big fuck of laser, which is bullshit, even when the mod author tells me that it is actually possible to dodge now, so I have a second shield with Vow of the Indomitable, because if I fail the dodge, I die. Well, I die sometimes. Sometimes I can tank it with my shield. Others I just die. So of course it just happened that in my winning attempt, I failed the fucking cast, and I still survived!
Fuck. Well, I'm alive. Oh, I'm alive.
Oh, and the flower, no issues with it. All is well and good until phase 3. When it does the triple explosion thingy, and the dots needs to be inputted on the explosion, not before. On the explosion, because the lasers come after. So I said, fuck this, and I bowed the Indomitable twice and somehow made it. Yeah, so fuck both of these bosses, fuck them. This part was harder than Rodan. And I'm not even kidding. I am never doing something like this again. I think. I'll see you on the next one, whenever that is. Peace out.